Alright, just finished getting all these boards pressed together. I had to put together this steel frame in order to be able to press these boards. It takes a ton of pressure. We're talking like tens of tons here to press these boards. And I had tried a bunch of other ideas prior to this that just didn't work out, so this is where I ended up. I've got now 4 good sized blocks of boards that each have 2 square sides to them. So next up I will run them through the planer and get them all completely squared up. About done drawing out this guitar, and I don't usually freehand my designs. Typically I'll draw them up on my computer first, but on this one I really wanted to utilize the designs and the geometry that I had to work with. So I just drew on my center line and all the important components like my bridge position, and that gave me somewhere to start. It's kind of a wild looking design, but it uses the symmetry in the design, so I think I'm going to go with it. And I'm not sure about this center area yet. But I'll get it cut out first and then I'll decide. So these boards are all maple veneers, and I know that maple can be tough to cut through, but see that burnt color on the cut? That's because my bandsaw blade is super dull. And that small cut took forever, but I don't have another 1/4 inch blade, so I will just have to make do with it. Here is another 7 or 8 boards that are prepped, and these are going to be for the neck. And I wish I could stack these based on the veneer colors, but I have to stack them pretty much based on the board size. Otherwise they just won't press together tightly, and that's the most important thing. Here's 3 resaws that I just did, and they look pretty good. There is a bit of a gap where the headstock would be, but I can probably just fill those in with some epoxy and it'll look just fine. I also cut off a piece to make a matching fretboard with. So the fretboard is from the same cut as the neck, and I was able to get the veneer lines to align with the headstock, which is pretty cool. In that sense, it kind of looks like a one-piece neck. This is the edge of the skateboard deck, which tapers up, and I've got to do something about that. I'm thinking about just carving it down so it comes to a point near the top of the body. I'm not sure how it's going to look, but I will give it a shot. Alright, so I'm not too crazy about it right now. It kind of reminds me of like bull horns or something. But I think what I'm going to do is carve down from the top on them just to kind of provide some symmetry, and we'll see how that looks. Real quick, I want to mention that if you want to support what I do here in my shop, you can now buy a shirt. A buddy of mine drew up this design and I thought it was pretty cool, so I put it on some shirts, and you can buy one now on my website, which is burlsart.com. I'll also put that link in the description. Alright, so now to the guitar. This was probably one of my more challenging builds that I've done yet. Mainly the challenge was in getting the boards pressed together. It just takes so much pressure to press them. I was using 3 12-ton jacks, and on that last press I added another 8-ton jack along with that welded steel frame, and even then it was pretty tough to get a perfect press on them. I had tried so many alternative methods to pressing before I finally buckled down and decided just to go with a welded steel frame, because there's really just no alternative method to pressing these than having a big metal frame and a bunch of big jacks. But once I had them all pressed and glued together, it was really nice working on this build, just because it's essentially like working with wood. But overall, I'm super pleased with how this guitar came out. The design's a bit out there, but I kind of like playing around with different designs. The backside here, where there's that belly carve, looks super cool. The neck is probably my favorite part about the guitar. I just really like the sides where the colored veneers are shown more. It weighs just over 8 pounds, so pretty good on weight with this one. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got to say about this guitar. So I'm going to get to the demo here. As always, you can follow my work on Instagram at burlsart.